wanted to get on here, and first of all, if you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I wanted to get on here and talk about, I'm not going to stay long, but about the former CEO of Abercrombie&Fitch, Mike Jeffries, who is now under charges brought by the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the NYPD. All right, so this is serious. Now, I was never one to shop at Abercrombie&Fitch. It always just seemed like a white store, whatever. But that's not the point of this. All right, so because they had a press conference on the local news in New York today. So he apparently was trafficking men for his own sexual pleasure and along with the help of his sexual partner. They said he carried out these quote-unquote tryouts across the world with men. They've said men so far. Although I know that anybody who is going to be a model is typically very young. So maybe these people are over the age of 18 when this happened. But still, and we're not done necessarily hearing about people coming forward. So he carries out these tryouts around the world with men where he paid them to carry out sex acts with him during these tryouts, under the impression, I guess, that they would be a model, and then approve them, and then they would fly them out to his house in the Hamptons and his mansions in France and across the world. Trafficking. Bringing people, many under the impression that they're going to do something else, across not only state lines within the country, but across the world, which is illegal. Certainly, as you're a citizen here. So they created a referral and an interview process for men, and this was in different parts of the country and the world, all right, who were supposed to come to these events, and they would tell them, look, this is your into a modeling opportunity, and, these men would consent to attend these events, but they had no idea that they were being flown out for sexual purposes. They thought, okay, I've come in, I've interviewed, and yeah, I may have been forced to do some sexual acts, but hey, this is my opportunity. Some of them, and some of them didn't. I'm just, but still, under the impression that this was going to help their modeling careers, right? And it turns out they had no idea they were even being trafficked and would be forced to carry out sex acts on people or for people against their will, right? And like I said, he was doing this also with his sexual partner. This man is currently 80 fucking years old. Which means he was still grown in the 90s and early 2000s when I feel like Abercrombie&Fitch was really big. But that also may be because I was in high school with people who wore that stuff. But anyway, all right. So he would give people these things called poppers and other drugs designed to quote unquote relax, their muscles and stuff. They would also, him and his main, would also place erection-inducing drugs inside these men's drinks to get people to do acts that they were either incapable of doing or unwilling to do when they tried to make them do it, okay? And those kind of, when we talk about Diddy and stuff with parties at the Hamptons, that happens a lot with people with money. But they have these big-ass houses. You know how stuff can get hidden in big houses? Anyway. So, and then in the process of giving them these poppers, making people do sex acts that they're incapable or unwilling to do, they would make their staff watch. Do you know how incredibly traumatizing that is? Because when we're talking about staff, we could be talking about people who have to serve, right? Food, drinks, have to clean up. We could be talking about people that work for them, people who need the work. So even when we talk about staff, that can mean anything. So one, you have this bystander guilt, being forced to watch, not feeling like you had any choice. Trust me, if people felt like they could run or had a choice, they probably would. And if they were okay with it, don't worry, they'll be indicted too. Okay? And then how traumatizing that is, and then the guilt the shame for having seen it and the guilt for not doing anything. Are you kidding me right now? This shit is deep. So the investigation, according to the FBI agent that was leading the press conference, another black man, okay, like the one who is over the U.S., the assistant U.S. attorney who's doing Diddy shit. Y'all talking about tear black men down, but these black men got these jobs? I'm just saying. Anyway, so the investigation is ongoing. There are 15 John Does so far, and they are encouraging people to contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. I don't know if this generation knows how to actually pick out the numbers, but this would be a good learning opportunity for many. But nevertheless, that's the number they gave, and if anybody watches this and knows somebody, or God forbid has happened to you, please. And this is just an example of another fucked up individual that uses their wealth to cause harm, to sexually exploit people and abuse them. One, because they can. But as I say all the time, it was like when I saw that horrific video of Diddy abusing Cassie. We know Diddy has been bisexual, I don't care what he says, for years. But his hatred and violence toward women comes from a deep space. And apparently, Diddy attended this Catholic school in the Bronx that had been full of sex scandals, which isn't unique for a Catholic school, okay, or a Catholic church. In the Archdiocese in LA, and I had to pay these people millions now. That was just last week, okay? So I'm just saying, that comes from somewhere on top of your understanding of what you have the right to do to other people. That's still fucked up. But I think, and there are people who don't have money who still manage to do that. Yet we glorify pimps and shit. Anyway, nevertheless, these people, I say that to say, are fucked up before they get this money. But money in this country means everything. And it means you get away with shit. All right? Now, my thing is, and they said that these alleged behaviors happened in New York City, which is why the Eastern District is prosecuting him, and places around the world. So there's multiple places. These people have a running theme. All of these violators that we know about so far have a running theme, okay? Allow me to go down the list. Indulge me for a second. Millions of dollars these people have, and they exploit the dreams and the hopes of people, and in, trying to seduce them with their celebrity or their position in society. Diddy, promising Cassie would be a star. This ain't the only person he promised to be a star. Why? He had enough stars. He had Mary J. Blige. He had Biggie. He's been exploiting his death since. Hell, Biggie only had, 2 albums? I was never a Biggie fan just because he was about that drug stuff. Like, Tupac I would go in for all day just because I felt like it was political and smart. Anyway, but you had Lil' Kim. I mean, some serious legend, Faith Evans. Anyway, they had it. But also along with that talent, there was a history of him, and you can tell somebody like Cassie, who comes along in the later 2000s, around my age, we know he had no intention of seeing her successful, which abusive men usually don't want women to be successful. There's not abusive men that want them to be successful. They want to break you because of whatever the fuck is going on inside them, all right? And we know Diddy has a habit of sabotaging artists, but he could sell the dream. He continued to find ways to make money. And so his celebrity, his money that he got, okay, cheating other people out of what hasn't been paid. Didn't we have Kalina and Jock ended up on Love and Hip Hop because they need to make money? Not because they were poor spenders. Diddy cheats people. He fucking cheats people. When Lil' Kim sat down and did that interview and somebody asked her at one time, they were like, does Diddy owe you money? She said he owe everybody money because he's stealing. Anyway, but this whole idea that I can make you something, and there are people, you can sit around and go, oh, it was just about the money for them. Well, it's just about the money for the people in fucking charge of all of this. It's just about the money for Diddy. It's just about the money for Weinstein. Like, why is it always the people who are in a position of powerlessness that are the ones being blamed for wanting money? Meanwhile, the person who has the money is the one being celebrated, and somehow they're victimized. Like, oh, it's probably because they just want all their money. They have it so hard. What the fuck? Since when does money do you that serious of a disservice? Get the fuck out of here. You know how hard this shit is to prove? Anyway, so while we go down the list, Bill Cosby promising to make different women stars, putting them on the Cosby Show. He did give some of them opportunities or to mentor them. Also, note Alvin Toussaint, that black psychologist that helped him do the Cosby Show. And this has been written about, that one of Bill Cosby's daughters was raped by Mike Tyson. And that black psychologist that Cosby was so close to and everybody admired, and Alvin Toussaint did do a lot of work, you can still read his work or whatever, suggested when his daughter was raped that we don't need to put Mike Tyson in jail. We're just going to get him some counseling and not report it. Now, what the fuck do you think that did to his daughter's mental health? And a son of a bitch that would let that happen to his daughter. And that's why I don't go in on Camille Cosby like that. Yes, I think the comparison to Emmett Till was some bullshit and all that other stuff. But one of the things that I think about is, if that is what Bill Cosby was doing with one-offs with random women and raping them and drugging them, what the fuck has Camille been going through? And she offered him leverage. He didn't marry into no, he didn't bring her up. She came from money. She was in part of that Black Boule. She was in Jack and Jill before. He would have never had that kind of leverage. Certainly not for being a comedian or an entertainer. Certainly not during the 70s. And so you got to think about that. Just like I don't believe Diddy is just such a great father while abusing all of his kids' mothers. Anyway, go down the list. R. Kelly, making his living girlfriends believe they could be stars. Those girls that showed up that were the living girlfriends, all of them, they had videos of them singing, even though they were lying to Gayle King, saying, no, we don't want to be stars. I don't know where that came from. That's our parents. They just wanted money. Once again, the person with the money is victimized. And then we find out it's a damn lie. We knew it was a lie, but you get my point. R. Kelly, going to that McDonald's near a high school where teenagers hang out because teenagers are limited in places they can go. And, people that would be surprised or happy that a celebrity wanted to be around him. Why would he want to be? Wow, he thought I was pretty. You know what I mean? Like the kind of dumb shit you think when you're 15 or 16. All right? Harvey Weinstein, taking advantage of women who wanted to become actresses, models, and in some cases did, but he still raped them. And he knew, and this is the thing about these men, they know that the public outcry will always go towards them. That's why they've kept doing it. Woody Allen married his adopted daughter. What the fuck is he doing walking around free? Jeffrey Epstein, I told you I'm calling the roll here. Jeffrey Epstein, being around people like Prince Andrew, okay, Donald Trump. Even though the royalty in Great Britain is just bloodline, they're Tea Party kings and queens, but nevertheless, Donald Trump and other celebrities that gave him a level of status. He had been a con artist from way back. He got a job at one of the top and most expensive private schools, Jeffrey Epstein, back in the 70s, the Dalton School, on the Upper East Side. By padding his resume, he never even graduated from college. And then he kept getting ins to this place and to Wall Street. It shouldn't be no surprise. We don't know what he was doing in the 70s to kids in the school. I don't know. But I will say, if he had a pattern of trafficking and exploiting young girls after that, that doesn't start overnight. It doesn't. Jeffrey Epstein, along with that, having these huge, huge homes. Don't nobody need a house that big. And when people have houses that big, as far as I'm concerned, there's something that they're hiding. It's not just a have. It's not. And then telling girls, young girls, this is Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, telling girls in East Palm Beach, and somebody explained it in that one of those documentaries where this man said, where there is a West Palm Beach, there's always going to be an East Palm Beach. And the point he was making, for every super rich neighborhood in the city, there's going to be a poor neighborhood, because that's how it works in a capitalist society. All right? And Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell in East Palm Beach, telling these young teenage girls that they can make extra money becoming a masseuse, and then, for a teenager, in a poor neighborhood or with a single parent, or somebody just doesn't have regular supervision and wants to help their family or has to babysit their siblings, well, cash will help them. And teenagers sometimes just want jobs. And then to use those girls to get their friends to bring them in to this traumatic trafficking circle, not understanding even what's going on because you're fucking 13 or 14, thinking you're just helping your friends. Knowing many of these young girls were desperate and then getting them to bring in other people, not only is that predatory, it is very calculated, it's insidious, and it's purposeful. And it's sick. So miss me with the, oh, they just want the money. And if they do, so fucking what? All these people done schemed and scammed their way to the top. Y'all up here defending Cliff Huxtable like he's a real person. I can't even look at the Cosby Show no more. Fuck Bill Cosby. And I love the Cosby Show. I can't even, because I just can't stand to look at it. It's too real. Like, I can't. I liked R. Kelly's music too. I can't even listen to it anymore. Because too many of those songs, I was like, oh shit. It seems like you're ready. Like, right, and You Are Not Alone for Michael Jackson. I can't listen to him. I still listen to Michael Jackson. And no, he's not canceled for me. And one thing I have learned, and this was during the Sandusky trial, if you don't know about it, look it up, at Penn State. I think it was Penn State, because that's a sports school. He was a coach, and he had been sexually molesting a lot of young boys. And I remember at the time they were reporting on it, someone said, there were a couple of psychologists who were pointing out that the average pedophile commits 230 fucking cases before they're even caught. Now, this is the average pedophile. That means there are people who commit more before they're caught, some less. But also, these are the ones reported. These are the ones that actually make it to being reported at a police station. And so for that, fuck Mike Jeffries. I don't feel sorry for him. If you are an apologist for these kind of people, I'm not the one. But I just wanted to bring this to you because this stuff is really sticking in my craw, okay? Anyway, y'all have a good rest of your Tuesday. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye.